I'm the human ATM. You order it. You can order it.
Oh, you can?
And when you order a certain amount, when you order millions of dollars, a Brinks truck comes to your home.
Just a few years ago, Floyd Mayweather stood in front of cameras proudly calling himself a human ATM, flashing stacks of cash, private jets, luxury watches, and multi-million-dollar mansions as proof that nobody in sports could match his lifestyle. He carried himself like a man completely untouchable, someone who believed money would never stop flowing no matter what happened.
And he told me, and I'm not gonna say who it is, but he's like, Mayweather's broke. I said, no. He's like, no, really, Mayweather's broke. Now, I don't know if it's true.
Right.
This is what this guy told me. I'm like, how could he be broke? He's like, yo, he spends like crazy.
Yeah.
But now in 2026, the conversation surrounding Floyd Mayweather has started changing dramatically. Across boxing circles, financial insiders, and social media discussions, growing rumors suggest that the Money Mayweather empire may no longer be standing as strong as people once believed. More and more signs are beginning to appear that suggest Floyd could be dealing with serious financial pressure behind the scenes.
Floyd is definitely not broke. Floyd is wealthy. You and I are broke compared to Floyd Mayweather.
Definitely.
We're like essentially homeless compared to Floyd Mayweather.
Reports of expensive asset sell-offs, unpaid taxes, lawsuits, massive loans, and overdue luxury payments have created a picture that many fans never expected to see connected to one of the richest athletes in combat sports history. Normally, ultra-wealthy people do not suddenly begin parting ways with the symbols of power that define their image unless something deeper is happening. Mansions, luxury cars, private jets, and high-end properties are not just investments for billionaires. They are status symbols, trophies that represent dominance and success. That is why people have become increasingly suspicious watching Floyd allegedly offload major assets over the last 2 years. One of the biggest warning signs came from the real estate world. In December 2024, reports confirmed that Floyd sold his Palm Island mansion in Miami Beach for around $22 million after originally purchasing it in 2021 for roughly $18 million. On paper, many people argued that this looked like a profitable business move. But things became much more alarming when another property tied to Floyd reportedly collapsed in value during a later sale. In April 2026, reports surfaced that a Beverly Hills mega mansion Mayweather had originally listed for close to $48 million allegedly sold for around $27 million instead. That shocking difference immediately sparked speculation that Floyd may have been desperate for fast cash rather than patiently waiting for the right buyer. Financial experts often point out that wealthy individuals rarely accept losses that large unless they are under serious pressure to generate liquidity quickly. For years, Floyd Mayweather represented the absolute peak of boxing success. He retired with a perfect undefeated 5-0 record and headlined some of the highest-grossing fights ever created. His 2015 showdown with Manny Pacquiao became one of the richest sporting events in history, generating hundreds of millions in revenue through pay-per-view sales and ticket purchases. Floyd reportedly earned well over $250 million from that single event alone. Then, in 2017, he returned once again to face UFC superstar Conor McGregor in another megafight that produced massive revenue worldwide. At the time, it seemed impossible to imagine Floyd Mayweather ever dealing with financial strain. But according to growing reports, the reality in 2026 may look very different behind the scenes. The concerns became even louder when stories connected to Floyd's businesses and commercial properties started appearing publicly. One of the most talked about examples involves the Girl Collection strip club in Las Vegas, a business long tied to Floyd's flashy public image. Reports claim the property had faced warnings connected to unpaid property taxes and penalties exceeding tens of thousands of dollars. While $50,000 may sound enormous to ordinary people, many critics pointed out how insignificant that amount should be for someone who once earned hundreds of millions from a single fight. To them, the issue was not the amount itself, but what it symbolized. They argued that someone with truly healthy cash flow would never allow such a public financial issue to happen over a relatively small debt. The problems reportedly extended even further into Floyd's luxury real estate holdings. Reports connected some of his Las Vegas condominium properties to tax-related legal trouble before payments were eventually made to resolve the issue. At the same time, financial reports suggested Floyd may have taken on loans totaling around $54 million, with interest rates reportedly close to 9%. According to those reports, assets tied to the loans allegedly included properties, businesses, and even a private jet. Financial analysts immediately warned that while debt itself is not unusual among wealthy individuals, high-interest loans become dangerous when consistent cash flow begins slowing down. In simple terms, borrowing millions only works when incoming money remains stable and predictable. Once that flow weakens, interest payments alone can become a crushing burden. According to reports and estimates, interest on a loan that size could potentially cost millions of dollars every year without creating any additional wealth. Critics argue that this creates the exact opposite image of the financial genius Floyd has always tried to project publicly. Instead of appearing like a billionaire strategically using debt to expand his empire, some experts believe the reports suggest a man trying to sustain an expensive lifestyle using borrowed money. The flashy image remains intact on social media, but behind the scenes, the financial structure supporting it may be weakening rapidly. Another major issue that continues following Floyd is his long and complicated history with taxes. Over the years, multiple reports linked him to millions of dollars in unpaid IRS obligations. After his record-breaking earnings during the Manny Pacquiao era, Floyd reportedly faced enormous tax bills tied to those massive payouts. Critics believe these ongoing tax problems reveal a deeper issue involving liquidity rather than total net worth. Floyd may still technically own assets worth hundreds of millions, but luxury homes, jewelry collections, and exotic cars cannot easily solve immediate financial obligations when taxes, lawsuits, and debts suddenly become due. That distinction between wealth and liquidity has become central to the conversation surrounding Floyd in 2026. Many financial experts explain that being asset-rich does not necessarily mean someone has large amounts of available cash. A person may own expensive properties and luxury items while still struggling to meet short-term financial demands. And according to critics, that appears to be the danger Floyd Mayweather may now be facing. The public concerns intensified even further after reports connected Floyd to lawsuits involving delayed luxury payments. One major story claimed Floyd had allegedly fallen behind on payments tied to a luxury residence at the Baccarat Hotel in New York, reportedly leading to legal action over overdue rent totaling hundreds of thousands of dollars. What made the story particularly damaging to Floyd's image was the contrast between the allegations and the image he constantly presents online. While social media still shows him surrounded by stacks of cash, luxury shopping sprees, and expensive vacations, reports of unpaid bills painted a very different picture behind the scenes. Critics argued that Floyd still wants to appear like a billionaire publicly, while privately struggling to maintain the lifestyle that image requires. Even Floyd's continued participation in exhibition fights has become part of the debate. After retiring undefeated, many people expected him to disappear from competition and simply enjoy his fortune. Instead, Floyd repeatedly returned to the ring against influencers, MMA fighters, and celebrity opponents. He fought Logan Paul, Mikuru Asakura, John Gotti III, and several other non-traditional opponents in exhibitions that many fans viewed more as entertainment spectacles than serious fights. While Floyd still generates attention, critics increasingly question why a man supposedly worth hundreds of millions continues accepting these bouts. To many observers, the answer seems obvious. They believe the exhibitions are no longer about competition, legacy, or passion for boxing. Instead, they see them as a way for Floyd to continuously inject cash into a financial system that may be under increasing pressure. Rumors involving potential future fights against names like Mike Tyson and even Manny Pacquiao have only strengthened that belief. Fans now wonder whether Floyd's perfect undefeated legacy is being used primarily as a financial survival tool rather than protected as one of boxing's greatest accomplishments. At nearly 50 years old, Floyd continuing to accept physically demanding events at such a consistent pace has raised concerns among sports analysts as well. Most retired legends step away from combat sports entirely once they secure enough wealth and legacy. But Floyd's constant return to the spotlight has convinced many people that the pressure behind the scenes may be far greater than the public realizes. Despite all the rumors and criticism, people close to Floyd continue denying claims that he is broke. And realistically, Floyd Mayweather almost certainly still controls enormous wealth compared to the average person. He still owns businesses, properties, luxury assets, and one of the most famous names in combat sports history. But the growing concerns in 2026 are not necessarily about total wealth anymore. The real fear surrounding Floyd Mayweather is whether his lifestyle, debts, legal obligations, taxes, and non-stop luxury spending have created a dangerous imbalance that even massive earnings can no longer comfortably support. At this stage, the Floyd Mayweather story feels like something much bigger than boxing. It has become a cautionary example about money, image, and excess. Floyd spent years building the image of a man who could never lose financially no matter what happened. He turned Money Mayweather into a global brand associated with endless wealth and complete financial dominance. But now, the same lifestyle that once made him famous may also be creating the greatest pressure he has ever faced outside the ring. The expensive mansions, private jets, luxury hotels, exotic cars, giant loans, tax issues, lawsuits, and non-stop public displays of wealth have all combined into a growing narrative that many people believe is impossible to ignore anymore. Whether the rumors ultimately prove true or not, one thing is becoming very clear in 2026. Floyd Mayweather's financial empire no longer looks untouchable. And for the first time in years, people are beginning to wonder if the undefeated king may finally be losing a fight he cannot control.